When I was working my way up, I always wished that I had the chance to be able to have a little chat with the people that I looked up to, the ones that I saw on stage and really wished that I could be like. Well, my name is Chris Baran, and I have been around probably about 40 plus years now, a couple of hair awards behind me. And I figured I've got the opportunity that I can bring to you the hair heroes that we look up to and admire, and let you have and listen in while we have a conversation and find out their mistakes, find out what they did right and wrong. Welcome to Chris Baran's Headcases. I am super pumped about this week's Headcases guest because she hails out of Montreal, the Pure Salon, and it is my friend Anna Pacitto. And I have to tell you this, she has this innate ability in her photographic work to be able to really push the boundaries so that it just about borders on avant-garde, yet is super tasteful and really feminine. So currently, I just wanted to give you some of her accolades here. She is currently the artistic director for Intercoiffure, a Davines international artist, as well as, catch this, was also L'Oreal Professionnel from Canada, was their art director for 17 years. Now, her awards are numerous. Between NAHA, Canada Awards, as well as all the other international awards she's been involved with, has been a winner or the finalist at least 20 plus times. So, and in this week's podcast, for those of you that are listening, it's muy importante, really important, that you check in the description for the links to her work, because we're going to be talking about that. So in the meantime, let's get ahead with this week's head case. I'm going to warn everybody right now in this one. I'm probably going to gush. I'm probably going to be stuttering a lot while this is going on, because right now I have somebody on with me that I look up to as one of my hair heroes. I have admired her work my whole life, and I am just absolutely in love with this person's work. And so it gives me no greater pleasure in the world than to be sitting here, well, me in my chair, you in Montreal, Anna, but with Anna Pacitto. And I have to say, Anna, it is just a pleasure to have you on board here.
Oh, Chris, I don't know if you see me blush or get teary-eyed, but thank you so much. And the respect and admiration is mutual.
Well, I think part of it comes from, we have a lot in common because Canadians, we both into the competition work, but we have both had, sort of interesting backgrounds. And I don't know if you know it, and because I did a little bit of research, and I understand that we have kind of a similar beginning in the industry. We had, my mother was in the industry, your dad was a barber and in the industry, and speaking for myself, I never really wanted to be a hairdresser. It was just, I kind of fell into it. But I understand it was a bit similar for you. So tell us a little bit about the background, your dad, etc. How did you get involved in the business? What was the key points?
Absolutely. I've been in the industry forever. I used to sweep my dad's barbershop, and he would give me 5 cents every time I would sweep his barbershop. And I absolutely did not want to be a hairdresser. And I was in college, and my dad, contrary to most parents who absolutely want their children to go on in school, he wanted me to take over or work with him and taking care of his salons. And it was a trip to Italy one year. I used to spend a lot of my summers in Italy, and it was after the 2 months, and I hadn't had enough of my vacation in Italy. And I said, I phoned my daddy up, and I said, that idea of yours, of me being in your industry, what if I take a hairdressing course here in Italy, And
smart.
He basically, his answer was, what's his name? Because he thought, come on, who are you kidding? You want to stay there.
Oh, I get it.
And I said, let's give this a try. And I did take my hairdressing course in Italy. And then when I came back, he had a chair ready for me in one of his shops. And that's when I started going to university in business administration classes because I
Oh,
wanted.
smart.
And I was working in one of his salons in the daytime. And then, salary was interesting. And I started to appreciate
It's
it.
interesting. I think that if people, well, let me back this up. I think that like what I heard you say and what really tweaked in my brain was when you said, after I got my hairdressing, I went and I got a business degree. You got your business schooling. And I think that is so incredible for our business. And I only wish that was me. I was one of those hairdressers, probably like 99% of the other people. I just, I got out of hairdressing school. Well, quite frankly, I just got out of hairdressing school and I say I've been 55 years in the business, but it was only 53 because the first 2 years in my business, I wouldn't have wanted to hire me. All I wanted to do was party my brains out, etc. That was it. But the reality was, it wasn't until you get a wake up call. And I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole of what that was. All I want to say is when I finally got the hair bug and I finally got hooked on education, the problem was probably like many other people, I didn't have the business acumen that went along with it until way later in my life. So what was it about having that business? How did the business and the hairdressing skill, how did that work for you? Was there a benefit to it? How did that work out in your dad's business? How did that manage you
Oh,
forward?
I give total credit to my dad for that. To me, being in the industry at the very beginning was all about business. At the time when I started, I think he basically, my dad worked as a barber in Rome, came to Montreal over 60 years ago, and with nothing. When I started in the industry, he probably had about 24 salons.
Wow.
And to me, it was about, wow, if he can do this, imagine where I could bring it. So to me, it was. And then, the first job I had with him was, wow, this is interesting. And the more clients I do, the bigger the pay is. And this is good, And it was really about the business and how I could help my dad because I was so in admiration with what he had accomplished. And I only got the passion for the art, the artistic part of things later when I was bored out of my mind. When business was good, but I still don't love it. I love the numbers. I love, where the business is going, but I want to love what I'm doing since I'm going to be doing this forever. And it's only, like I said, when I was really bored that I, started taking more and more classes. And then I watched a young girl win an award at the ABA for cut and blow dry, and she won a provincial title, gold medal. And I said, if I can only win one of those, just one, I will be accomplished. And that's all I want. I want to prove.
I want to stop you there for just 1 second because, here, to so many people that are out there right now, I just want them to get the gist of what just happened in there because I don't imagine many people getting up in the morning, having a little stretch, having a cup of coffee in the morning, their espresso in the morning, and then saying, I just can't wait to go out in front of a whole group of people and have my work judged by my peers and everyone else to say, whether I win, lose, fail, etc. What was, to most people, that's the hardest thing to do. It's like to say, look, I want to do some creative work. I'm going to make something. I'm going to do a photo collection. I'm going to have that opportunity is one thing, but it's another thing to really put the risk out there when your work stands out there, because you can put a photo together and have it on your wall and you can say, I love it. But when somebody comes back to you and says, that's a piece of crap, I don't like it, I pick other people first. I'm over
Yeah,
dramatizing this.
and there, I know.
What was that like for you in order to make that initial step?
Well, that was the biggest fear, right? To be up on that podium and have everybody around you judge you. But you see, I felt that I was doing it, just for the business.
Mm-hmm.
And I was bored out of my mind. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm going to be, doing this forever. So I better like it. So maybe this could spark some interest and this could keep me going because I bore easily. And so I just wanted to see, first of all, I wanted to measure myself. I needed to measure myself. I needed to know, okay, I know why I'm doing it business wise, but am I any good? Am I any good? And that was very important to me, and to have a goal and a target. And I think all of my life, it's been about setting goals and targets, for myself. And to me, that was, a target. And I knew that I was I had my dad, to guide me on the business side of things. But, I needed to bring his businesses, forward on a different level. And I felt, what, if I'm able to prove to myself that I'm any good, and this is a way to measure it, let's do this. And that's how it started, really.
So you and I were chatting the other day, and we were talking about well, first of all, I want to set this up. And as we introduced you in the very beginning, there's not too many awards that you haven't won. I mean, whether you look at it from a provincial, a national, international standpoint, your name is out there. And but the point is that sometimes we do the collections, but we only really love a very small percentage of what we actually do. So tell me a little bit about this. Why do you think that is with the artists like us that go out there? Why do you think that is? Why do you think we're so hard on ourselves when it comes to our work?
We're striving for excellence. We're striving for perfection. We're hard on ourselves. And that is a great, call it a quality to have. Because I rarely sit back and say, oh, wow, this is, there are some images that I saw, oh, good job, Anna. But, even as I sent you what were supposed to be my favorite images, I said, really, they're not that great. Like, did I just send these to Chris Baran and say, these are my favorites? Because I'm not sure about that anymore, I'm very hard on myself, and I'm sure you must be as well.
I have to say this is that I always say, hi, my name is Chris, and I'm a perfectionist, to which everybody goes, hi, Chris. I feel like I'm at Perfectionist Anonymous. But my coach one day said to me, you know what, Chris, if you are a perfectionist, then you are, and I want everybody that's listening out there, whether you're listening or watching, I want you to really listen to this, is he said, you are doomed to a life of frustration. And so the biggest thing in my life has always been now to try to get through, instead of perfection, just instead of what do I need to just elevate it just that little bit more. So instead of trying to do perfection, what do I need to do just to get progress instead of perfection? And I think based on that, and we always tend to look at ourselves and say, darn it, I wish I could have done just a little bit better. I shoulda, woulda, coulda. We always end up shoulda-ing all over ourselves. And especially when we do competition work. And I want to go back. I want to just go back, as in just a few minutes, I want to show some of your work and some of the ones that you really love and I absolutely adore. and because I want people to really see it. Those, because there's so many people on that are going to be watching and listening this that know you. I'm not going to bring them up right away, Lee. I just want to talk about something else first. But I want to go back to the competition work, and I remember distinctly when I had won a couple competitions. I thought, oh, I'm really good. And then all of a sudden I just bombed and I got nothing. And I just wanted to go home and put my thumb in my mouth, hook it over my nose, curl up in the fetal position, pull my wubby over my head and cry myself to sleep because I didn't know what to do. Have you ever had something like that? Do you they always see you as winning, but then they don't know about people when they have their times when you've lost something and how you feel about that.
So, my first competition, I came in, I think it was third, got the merit points, came in fourth, but I was so enthralled and happy with the thrill that I asked immediately, when is the next competition? And the next competition was in New York City. IBS, Jacob Javits Center, cut blow dry, ladies cut and blow dry. And over 80 competitors, I won gold.
Wow.
I'm there. What? And right? It's like, are you kidding me? My dad literally picked me off the floor because I fell to my knees. That's how, are you, what? You've been there, I'm sure. So I come back feeling, so I'm not half bad. So the following year, I want to win the provincial title that led you to possibly compete for the Canadian Championship. And this is live competition. And in that competition, I came in 10th for a provincial when the previous year I had won gold in North America.
Wow.
That was, oh my God, you're a fluke. That was a fluke. You're a fake. It was pure luck. That 10th position did more for me than any.
In what way? In what way? So I heard you say, well, first of all, I want to know that you felt that you got a little bit of that imposter syndrome, I imagine, that we all talk about. But what did that do? How did that propel you? What did it do for you when that came in? Like, I'd like to really know what happened to you first, and then what did you do? Because I'm sure that there's everybody else that's out there that's listening and watching is saying, that's happened to me. So what do I need to do?
That was the best learning experience of my life. Because in my mind I says, oh my God, I'm not all that. That was pure luck last year. And then the other side said, never again, Anna. You are going to prove to yourself and to everybody who just watched you bomb that you are better than this. And it just made me strive for excellence. This is never going to happen to me again. Anna, do your homework, work hard. Remember how hard you worked the first time and never take it for granted. Never take it for granted, and keep working harder than you can ever imagine for you to never be in this position again. So welcome failure. Welcome failure.
Yeah. I think that, the moment that people can realize that when especially if they're working in photography, if they're working for competition work, to really push themselves, is just to remember. I mean, I think that, both you and I were lucky at the very beginning, and I'm just going to call it luck because we happened to win provincially. We happened to, whether it was talent, whether it was whatever it was, believe in yourself, hitting the right thing, right judges, all of those variables that come in, but you got it right at the beginning. But maybe it's even harder for us when we win and then lose rather than people climbing. But I guess the other thing to remember is that, like, even still right now, you've still got to work hard to do it, but you don't win every time. It's like, I'm sure when you're going for NAHA or you're going for the AIFF awards or whatever award that you're entering, what do you tend to look for? Like, you're trying to make like, I always hear people, when they say to them, do you want to win? Oh, well, no, it's just about the competition. And what do you say to that? Is if you're going into an award, what do you do? Are you going in to win? Are you going in to make the finals? What is it for you?
Oh, let's get real. Of course, you go in to win. If you don't go in with that attitude, there's just no way you're going to win.
Exactly.
And then when you have a few under your belt, then you analyze the whole situation. And of course, all of the journey, the way you got there, your start constant struggle for perfection, for excellence. Perfection is, I shouldn't even use that word, but for excellence, for all the practice. That's what makes you a better hairstylist. And of course, that is the prize. What you become while you're striving for that prize is what is real, what is really worth something. That is just a way to measure. But I mean, what you keep is definitely all of the practice, the research, the work that goes into being the hairdresser that you are now. Of course, that is the big prize. The whole journey, everything that it takes, to get there. But if anybody says, yes, of course, you were honored to be a finalist. Yes, to be named top 5 in North America is, wow, that is a prize in itself. But you want to win.
Exactly. Yeah.
Stop lying to, you can't, it cannot be, yes, I am honored. I want to be top 5.
Yeah.
But ultimately, give me that darn award.
Exactly. See, here's what, and I'll give you a little insight. In our family, we have this expression, just do that. If you want to do that with me, you got to turn your hand and put one finger up. And in that's our signal when people are talking around our family and we think it's El Toro Caca, if you know what I mean. That's our expression is, I'm calling bullshit on this.
Calling
bullshit on this, is when people say to me, well, it's just nice to compete. And I went, well, because if you didn't want to win, you shouldn't have go there. But what I loved, and I want to talk about this just 1 second. After we're done talking about this, then I'm going to bring up your pictures to prove to everybody how absolutely stellar that you are when it comes to creating excellence in hair. But I want to talk about the word that you were used that most people don't do. And the word is research. So tell me a little bit about what research means to you. What does that mean? When you put in your time researching something, what is that?
I think one of the hardest things to do is to innovate when absolutely practically everything has been invented. And to me, when somebody innovates with a very new idea or something that I've never seen before, that to me is, oh my goodness, you've got me now, right? So I try to look for some things that are new. And for me to do that, I feel that I need to go outside the industry. Because if you focus only, and then of course my mentors are the likes of you and so many others that I look up to, then you tend to, I love his work, I love her work. It ends up being similar to or your version of. So I try to be inspired, it may sound corny, by nature, by when I'm on my various trips and I am totally blown away by something in nature, a certain texture, an old door. Recently, I've been looking at doors and I've been blown away by doors. And but certain textures in nature, colors in nature, seem to make me tick these days. And it's never the same thing, right? Of course, we're inspired by fashion designers, what they're doing in fashion. And we need to be, simply because that's how the media gets to like your work. If it's relatable to, because we are in the fashion industry, if it's relatable to the fashion industry. That's how the fashion media picks up on your work. And I think that's one of our faults. Very often our photos are so, and I'm guilty of this too, are so out of reach for fashion that the
Right.
media cannot relate to them. So I
Yeah.
try to bring it back to fashion. So yes, I am inspired by fashion designers, what's happening in fashion, music videos. But when I want to innovate, and it's really difficult, there are very few of us that can innovate. I can name a couple of us, not many, that are able, that can still do stuff that is, oh, I've never seen this before.
Right.
I try to go outside of the
Yeah.
beauty industry.
Well, and tell me about, so you say, I'm going to do a collection. Because here's what most people think. Anna wakes up in the morning, has a little stretch, has her cup of coffee. She can go outside. She's going to come up with an idea. And by 9:30, 9:45, she has a winning collection on her hand. How much time from the time that you say, I'm going to do, what's the research time, the time that you have to put in coming up with the idea, how the failures that you have to go through before you get to what actually works, and then creating it, recreating it again and again so you can do it on the set. What's the amount of time that takes you?
A lot of time. That is the hard part. That is the hard part. And you never know when it's going to hit you, right? So one time it could come to you in a flash and you go, I got it. And then you work on it and, trial and error. But there are other times where it takes forever. My very last collection that I just presented in Parma for Worldwide Hair Tour for Davines took me forever to come up with a concept that I was pleased with. And I spent so many sleepless nights and so much trial and error, because I love simplicity.
Yeah.
I love simplicity. I don't like things that are too elaborate, but that is a personal thing. And
Exactly.
it is so difficult to have a spectacular image and keep it simple. That is, I don't have to tell you. So
yeah.
That is the hard part, Chris. That is the hard part.
Just before I bring up your photos here, and so I want to talk about those, I think that's just the key part, is most people aren't willing to put in the time, aren't willing to put in the effort to get there. They just want to do a photo and then just do it. And that's where I take my hats off to you, because I think that your work, I mean, even if I had to put my work and your work, I'd still always be elevating yours up higher. And again, just my opinion, I'm not blowing smoke, but because of that simplicity, I think that somebody that can take a work that everybody sees every day, but you do something that's so innovative on that kind of head of hair. One of them is just even on the way that on one of these photos, there's two in particular that I really want to pay homage to in here, because I just think it's spectacular the way that you can bring simplicity in, but make it look so elegant and so it's a difference. So I was just I just got on a tangent there, but Lee, I just want to bring up some of her photos in here and just to give us some of the insight in here. Like, there's things that I'm drawn to right away on here, but give us some detail on this. What was this about? Where did you go?
This was unexpected. The collection was called Unexpected. It's too bad I don't have the whole. I didn't send you the whole collection. I really wanted to work with in here this is all of the model's hair, her own hair. It was enhanced, obviously, ever so slightly with finest pigment, which is just a color enhancer that washes away in a few washes. But she had the most incredible natural texture, natural color, that I said, I want to create something that is a little unusual and unexpected, using her own texture, her hair length, and not do too much to it. And then I worked with a fabulous makeup artist. This photograph is from Brian Iperciel. So I think what makes it unique is the makeup around the hairline.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, because you've got this diamond shape in all of it, and the thing that what appeals to me about this is, when I'm trying to coach people on their work, is that so many times it's I call it the kitchen sink syndrome. Is they try to throw everything into it rather than just make one thing stand out. And I think what's so clever in this is the hair has got an incredible shape in it. It works with the texture, but the way that the diamond and the makeup on her face fits in with it, and the makeup doesn't like, you don't automatically see the makeup first. You're drawn at it. You look at the hair, it's drawn in, draws to her face. She has an amazing emotion on her eyes, in her eyes alone. I just think it's just spectacular. And then what tops it off is what most people, the necklace that they have on, the piece that you have around on her neck. It just brings the whole thing together for me. I just love it.
Yeah, the stylist, Florence Audurand. I've been working with her for a while. And I don't know if I mentioned the makeup artist, Alexandre Laurier. And you have to connect and bring together the people that, are in tune with your sense of beauty, right? Because if you're on opposite ends, it just will not come together. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. So, Lee, show us the next one. Oh.
Yeah. NAHA win.
You got, did you win Masters on this one?
Yeah, Master North American Hairstylist. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that shocked.
And for people that are listening, people that are watching this, to understand that this is Masters is only a category. You have to be invited to it, so you have to be in a certain echelon. So, I mean, this to win in that category is a super achievement. So, but to that, is it like when you do this, give us a little insight in how you created this, because quite frankly, the other model that we had, you're working with her own hair. But oftentimes that people always think, well, how do you get them to cut hair? Like, how do you get them to do that kind of cut the hair that short on that side, leave it long on the other side, and have a professional model that has a modeling career?
Yeah, professional model again, Raphael. Obviously, it's her hair at the base. That is, the short part. That is her hair cut in that way. Absolutely, and extensions are in there, totally on the long side. And not only for the length, but also for the color. So the base was a beautiful icy blonde, and all of the extensions I added in were to create the length, the shape, and the color dimension as well. But the beauty, the magic of this photo is also this girl, Raphael, who is absolutely stunning.
Stunning.
And the right photographer, the makeup. The makeup here, I think, was Ekaterina Ulyanov, and the photographer is Aras Asunian, who is a hairdresser, who is able to, it's all of that combination of.
It does a lot of your photographic work. Yes.
Ara has done a lot of my photographic work, a lot of it, yeah. Not exclusively, but a lot. Yeah. And captures it brilliantly because he sees hair as a hairdresser, and he knows what to focus on. Yeah, for sure.
So with this, I mean, obviously you've got it on her hair. She's got that pulled in. But so what? And which year was this again?
This was 2014.
2014. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so what I love about this is most people would have taken that blonde hair and then they would have tried to put a a crazy wild color because I don't 2014. I don't think we were as into the mermaid colors as we
Yeah.
were later. I can't remember.
Yeah, it became more popular later, but certainly there was a lot of it going on
Yeah,
already.
and most people would want to take in and put a screaming red in there or something to that point. But the fact that you kept everything so subtle inside here is just absolutely stunning. Because it's got that natural feel. I love the browns in there are beautiful. The blondes in there are just absolutely stunning with it. And then obviously, as I'm sure that was my guess happening here is doing a little flick of wind in order to give that hair some movement so it's not so static was beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Lee, what's the next one? And by the way, we're going to have for those people that are listening to this, if we've got a URL that's on here, you just have to go onto that. You'll be able to see these photos at the same time. And so this is you've got a collection of 6 people in here. So tell us a little bit about this.
So this one's a little special. It was 2020, September, late 2020, in full pandemic era in Italy. This was shot in Italy.
Wow.
I was there to film a show for Intercoiffure, and I was supposed to do it in Montreal. And Davina says, "No, you're going to come over to the village, and the Davina's village, and we're going to film it there." And I called John Rawson, a fabulous photographer from England, who also used to be a hairdresser many years ago. Worked at Sassoon and others, and so his, the way he views hair is also right, the way we view it, yeah. And so and I said, I have all of these beautiful girls, beautiful models. The styling is there, the hair is already done. We're in Italy. London is just a hop away, so we brought him in, and makeup by a fabulous Milan makeup artist, Marco Zita. Florence, put the clothing together, and most of these models, maybe except for half of these models, 3 are from Montreal and 3 I got in Italy. And
wow.
this collection came about, and I like it. That this one was entered and did not make finals. So I won. It's not here. Oh, with the top girl with the different clothing. I won with IHIA International Beauty. Yeah.
That was. I want to just take everybody's eye just down to the bottom right, though. If you're looking at it, long hair, and for anybody that knows, a long hair is really difficult to shoot because it can end up just looking like nothing. So you have to have the model be able to pull it off and the talent to work with it. But what I love about it is how it looks so commercial, number one, until you look at the color, number two. But then just the way that you added that element to the center of the head, that to me, it just pulls that whole thing together. And it's because it's the hardest thing to do, and I'm not brave enough to do it. I'll be really honest here. So I take my hat off to you on that one.
That's me out of the box, or not even knowing where the box is, because it's not my usual thing. Bling, and that is not usually me, but the whole collection was based on sustainability and recycling. So the clothing were was clothing from old collections, because nobody was producing anything in 2020. Right. And the jewelry was all old jewelry and stuff that I bought in flea markets. And it was about using things that were not new. And so I said, I want to bring a little bit of sparkle, and that is, for hope, that for a better future, hopefully. And it started with the girl center bottom row. just putting in all of these braids and embellishing them with all of this old jewelry. And then it, took off from there. And obviously on the male model, it was on his face. And, it just took off from there. Yeah. There's always one that is the key.
Jumps out at you.
Is the inspiration. It maybe not the best one necessarily, but it's the one that leads the collection. Creating all of the others. And then I have to give credit to the colorists who are able to color, according to what I'm trying to portray. And for this one in particular, it is some of it, the last one you were talking about, some of it, of course, is extensions. She's a professional model. I actually drew in with a marker wherever I wanted all of the effects to be. And José Medeiros, Rock LeMay, Nick Morel, they all worked on the hair pieces for me.
Stunning. Absolutely stunning.
And you have to give credit to the team because...
Absolutely. I mean, that's one thing that, I all believe, and I know you do all the time, is that it's never just you. There's a whole group of people. And I've always said, look, I don't do makeup. So you tell me what it should be. Quite frankly, I did colored 100 years ago, but I don't anymore. So I want other people to do it. But also when you win, it's really important that they get credit too, because it wouldn't have happened without them.
It takes a village. Absolutely.
Yeah, it takes a village. So Lee, show us the next one. This is just the whole mood in it. Number one, and the finish in the editing at the end is also absolutely stunning.
Yeah. And this is Ara, and I wanted the focus to be the hair, and so I just said, just try to blur out, just so that we do focus on that one piece. And, he captured it. He captured it, and it's long hair is not easy. To do something that's a little bit different is not easy. This is 2021. Yeah, 2021. Yeah.
Wow. And you know what? But most people don't like. I want to just focus just above her left eye. And this is to me what makes something so incredible. Is you've got this wild piece of long hair, and you've got it embellished along the side. Mm-hmm. So if I'm judging, I'm looking, that's amazing. But how else are you really making it look like it's her hair? But it's the way that you've taken her own hair, up on that other side, so it's not so perfect on that left side. So it doesn't look like just a ponytail was pushed back and then something plunked on her head. And to me, that's those little things, those little details that you put in like that are what really captivate. Even if that's not the first thing you notice, but when you go in on it, that's what really makes part of that photograph, is just those little extra things that you do to the hair. And that just comes from experience on working with hair in front of a camera all the time, because most people always think of it as 3D, and it's not. It's 2D. You have to think of it just in 2 dimensions.
Yeah. So, and it is a question of balance, and balance is so important. And I just felt that if it was just, I was looking at the screen and I said, there's something that is off here. And, to make an asymmetric look be balanced is not easy. And it's a question of her shoulders, the way she's positioned, and it needed absolutely something on the other side, so I extended the hairpiece because obviously, to the other side to create that balance for me. But it's experience. Sometimes it's luck that it just happens.
And the other thing that I don't think people realize when they're starting to get into photography on hair is how, and this is controversial, is that so many people say, well, you've got Photoshop in there, but the number one is
not on the hair, not here.
Not in the hair, but on the background, on the image, on the model. But even on most people don't realize that a camera can never capture, no matter what you do, you can never capture it exactly the color, the whatever way, the particularly color that you get in real life. And so in the camera, you have to adjust the camera in Photoshop in order to make it look like it
100.
was real life. If you ever see
Absolutely.
what are called camera raws, they take in all the information and they're flat. So you have to adjust in them just to make it look like it did in real life. But the fact of the manipulation that was done in Photoshop here is the same thing that they would do in a Vogue shoot to make it look the background, the model, whatever you need to do to make it look and draw attention to the
Yeah.
incredible shapes. And so to me, that's all about the art. I love it.
Thank you.
So Lee, the next one. This was a shot that was in the collection that you showed us.
So because it was such a big project, before leaving for Italy, I test shot because I was doing a collection for Pure as well. Before leaving, I promised the whole team that we were going to do a collection. So I had Brian Iperciel. This was shot in my home, right in the middle of the pandemic, before going to Italy. So it was the summer of 2020. And this is a different photographer. So it was a test run. And if you notice, it's a totally different model.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so this was, I'm going to call this CO1, and CO2 was the one that was shot in Italy. And this has something pretty magical about it that I like. I cannot say, this is one that I can say I really like this one.
Yeah. Yeah. So back to what we talked about, that you do your work, but yet only 10% of it is the ones that you really love.
And it's imperfect.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not perfect. The hair and the face and the model, the way she wears it, obviously.
Yeah.
And so this was, like I said, shot before the other collection.
No, it's still it takes talent to place hair that, I mean, that's what often in movies you'll see their hair is done, but it's not perfect. And in this, they makes them still look sensuous. And that's what I love about this. It's like dry hair that could have been wet and dried that way. But just the way that it was placed on the face, etc., is just takes talent. That's just absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
And what blows me away in your house in the middle of a pandemic. Wow.
It was, it was fun. 2020 was not hard on me.
No,
2021
well,
is a different story, but 2020 wasn't. I cherished not cherished the situation, obviously, but the time off to be able to regroup my thoughts. We all went through it. We know.
Yeah. Well, so I think it's that's about life choice, isn't it? I can choose to have a mindset of one thing, or I can choose to have a mindset and I can take my time off and now I can do what I love, and that's hair. Okay. Yeah. So this next shot here, this is stunning.
Thank you.
So give us the backstory on this.
Well, the backstory actually starts with there's one with veil in the face, as well as a whole lot of beads. I think you have it as well.
Yes, we do.
That was the inspiration. Yeah, that was the inspiration to the shoot. It was, again, striving for, I need to create something that looks different, unique. So this idea of beads came in, and how do I create this model? Obviously, it wouldn't make me color her hair. I want color in here. How do I create this different texture and bring in color, to this? It was just it was a nice blonde, but it's just a very ordinary blonde. And I said, you know what? Let me create it with beads. And this is how it started. And I had so much fun doing this. There's some shoots that are heavy and hard to do.
Yeah.
This one I totally enjoyed. But it did start with the other one that was also featured in a magazine, and I try to remember what the magazine. This is Ara Sassouni and Ekaterina Ulyanov, his wife.
Yeah.
They're both friends of mine that did the makeup, and no clothing, as you can see.
Stunning. Yeah. No, it's absolutely stunning.
Mhm.
And Lee, I want you to go to the next one now because I'm not taking anything away from any of the ones, but this is one. This happens to be one of my favorite ones that you've done, and I just this. I mean, because it's so um, raw. I mean, I just love the way that the different textures are in it, and how hair is in a place that it almost shouldn't be, but is, and it looks perfect. So give us a little bit of what happened with this. Where did this come from? How did it?
Again, a professional model who wouldn't make me color her hair.
Yeah.
This is from the same collection, and the actual veiling, the hair that's in front of her face. I wanted to create a veil, and while I was prepping for this, I didn't have any straight hair to be able to create the veil. You know what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
right? The veil with hair. And I only had very textured real hair in my bag of tricks. And
Yeah.
so what happened with very textured hair, it kind of lumped in together. And as I was preparing it, I said, wow, I like this better. I'm really enjoying this texture. So instead of it being equally spread out, it kind of clumped together. And so then I exaggerated that. And the way Ara photographed it, it looks like a painting from
Yes.
the 14th century.
Yeah. Almost mosaic. Like it's unbelievable.
And you see some, and I created the color effects with the beads, the tiny little beads, and so then the others came about. I have 5 more
Wow.
photos from this collection. Yeah,
That's
indulgent.
absolutely, it blows me away. It makes me want to go out and shoot right now is what it wants me, what I want to do.
Let's do it, Chris.
Yeah. Well, I still think I want to do that there's nothing more than I would like is if we could get, just some people together, manufacturers aside, brands aside, just shoot hair. Just, bring in some models, come prepared with something, do it. Even what would even be better is if we just got together, brought your stuff along, and then just jammed and created something like say, okay, let's create a collection together and do something. I just think that, other than, it would terrify me because everybody else's work would be so good. That's the only thing that would get in my way. But so listen, I swear to God, I have probably about 20 more questions that I want to ask you about, but the things that I just want to throw this out at you right now is, and I hate, and I'm not going to ask you where are trends going, what's that, because when everybody says, where are the trends going? I hate it when people ask me that. You, on the other hand, probably tell me what it is, but I want to kind of reverse engineer that question. And what is it that you see happening right now in all the salons that is tending to be overdone and that we need to change direction on?
Okay.
What do you think that is?
And it's hard because I sometimes even wear my hair that way. But if I see one more beach wave,
yes,
and I sometimes wear it that way, and there's nothing new about what I'm wearing. But you go on some of the sites, the Instagram sites, and the whole page is just that.
Yeah.
And it started with the last couple of years of Friends. That's how Rachel was wearing her hair. So how long has it been?
Yeah.
How long has it been? And by the way, I need a haircut. I know, but
come out. I'm right there for you. Mind you, you have Daniel Benoit in there. I don't know why you would even want me to cut your hair, but Daniel is your business partner, and he's absolutely stunning and amazing as well. What do you think our industry needs to go? What do we need to do? What needs to happen? What do we need to get together on and shift in our industry right now?
Be a little more creative, less cookie cutter,
Mm,
stand out in some way. Uh, get back to showing beautiful haircuts. And it's fine. Long hair is,
bingo.
yes, there's a place for it. But I
Yeah,
remember a time when you had, shorter hair, mid length, longer hair, but now
yeah,
everybody is wearing the absolute same hairstyle. And
yeah.
it's,
Even at hair shows. I mean, you go to the hair shows now, everybody wears the same thing, and I've always held Canada in very high regard because I think that Canadians take, would you agree that, because it's been what, 20 some odd years since I've lived in Canada, but I always held them in high regard because we tended to take our influence from Europe, from Britain, from Australia, and is it the same as in the rest of North America where everybody's still got long hair now, and
mhm.
nothing
And
would
let's
please me more
look
if
at
we would start to go back
wearing
to cutting hair.
yeah, I'm wearing longish hair, and I understand that the pandemic certainly, but it was before then.
Yeah,
It was before then. Yeah, just less cookie cutter, stand out.
yeah,
Show something different, whether it's in color, whether it's in texture, whether it's in length. I'm liking the fact that we're seeing a lot of shags, extremely layered haircuts these days, still keeping the length. I think there's options if you want to keep your hair long. Yeah, just try to stand out. If you're exactly like everyone else, people could go anywhere. Why come to you?
yeah, yeah. I agree. You know what? I've got so much more that I want to ask you. I'm gonna give you one more just before we
Mhm.
close out here. But I think what we need to do next is I want to either have you back on and talk about some more things that were on here, or perhaps even I think it would be great if we could get Danielle and you on together and do
Mhm.
something together where we talk about what's going on in the industry. That I'd love to hear how you guys collaborate when it comes to uh, for Pure, etc. What you're doing, but if people, that'll be a down the pike thing. But
Mhm.
right now is I know that you're on the road traveling, and if people want to see you on the road, if they want to know where you're going and what you're doing, is there some place, something that they could do to know if I want to see Anna, if I want to see a program that she's doing? Because I know you also have your, and I believe it's called your Pure Academy as well, where people could go to learn as well. Do they not?
Well,
What could
well,
you
the
tell
Pure
us about that?
well, the Pure Academy now is only advanced academy,
Yeah.
and we have a space in Pure to do that, and through our distribution company, because I think I'm a distributor
Yeah.
as
Well,
well.
that's one thing. I've got to do my research better. I did not know that. So
Yeah.
what? So, but how do they find out? Where can we go? What distribution is
Well,
that?
the only that is Aura distribution, and
Aura.
so all of any classes that I give for Davines, obviously you could go through the Davines program and find out where I'm giving classes, or through Aura, and you could find out, or just contact me directly,
There
and
you
I
go.
usually post, and through
Yeah. And
Instagram
so
you
if
could.
you want to bring, so if that's from Instagram or whatever, that I've got if you take out your cameras right now, and if you just focus on that QR code, that'll take you directly to Anna's Instagram page, and you can directly connect with her there and find out all the information.
I usually post, my next classes. The next thing is, is that which one comes first? But definitely the beginning of October, Intercoiffure show
Oh,
in New York City. That's
wow.
going to be.
And I tell you, that's something because people can check it out if they're willing to become a member as well. They can check it out and go in as a guest as well. Can they
Yeah,
not?
right. That's right. Yes.
Yeah. So it's a great, especially for salon owners that are out there. It's an amazing organization to
Organization.
be a part of.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So Anna, I just want to say, wow. That's all I can say is just that quite frankly, we've known of each other. We've seen one another at shows. We've talked to one another. but I just feel like a real kindred spirit, and there's nothing that would make me happier than to be able to get together one day and just jam on some hair and just do some really cool stuff.
I would
would
love that,
amazing.
Chris. I would love that. And what's amazing is that even if we've only had minutes to say hello to each other, at the various events, it's always been a beautiful connection. The respect, like I said, and the admiration is absolutely there. And I would love to jam with you.
Oh, that was nothing that would please me more. Scared the hell out of me. I have to tell you, it would scare me to death. But
and congratulations on your last award.
Oh, thank you. That was very kind.
Beautiful collections. I saw 2 collections, and they are absolutely beautiful. That was for big behind the chair.
Yeah, that was the one-shot stuff. So listen, it was amazing to have you on board. I can't thank you enough. And to all our listeners that are out there, I just want to say this is somebody that if you're not following Anna right now, you saw her Insta come up there. Go back, get that up again, and you need to follow her. She is just absolutely brilliant in the hair that she does. Anna, it's up again. So if you haven't done it before, I command you of that right now and to follow her on there. So, my friends, I just want to say thank you, Anna. Thank you so much to all my friends that are out there, whether you're listening or watching. I just want to say thank you for being a part of Chris Baran's Headcases, and I just say thank you very much, and God bless to you all. Take care.
Thank you so much, Chris. Thank you. Bye. See you soon.
Okay, thank you. Anna, I swear to God, I've still got like 20 more questions I was going to ask, and I know better than that. But there was so much, so I'm going to have you back on again at some point. Would Danielle be open to being on with us?
Speak to him. Why not? I'll speak to him, and I'm sure he will be. Yeah.
Yeah. I have to say, probably one of the I remember it was at NAHA, like I can't remember, 100 years ago or 10 years ago, whatever it was. And they had asked, I think, Chris Sorby, myself, Nick French, and a couple of other people to be on a panel and to bring up awards and to score them in front of everybody, just so everybody saw how the scoring went.
Mm-hmm.
I'll never forget this when Daniel's work. Remember the work Dully did with all the chains?
Yep.
And they brought it up, and I scored him like I scored him perfect marks all the way through. And apparently, he didn't win on that collection that year.
Nope. But he won Canadian, but not.
Yeah, but I remember that when him walking up to me after, and he said, "You know what? I didn't win with North America on that one, but just the fact that you gave me perfect 10s, I'm okay with that now." So that memory, you have to tell him how that has stuck with me to this day, of him coming up and saying that. So it was, his work is stunning.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It was, that collection was before it was before its time. I'm going to say it was before its time, and not enough people understood it.
That's what happens when you innovate, right?
Yeah.
If you're innovating something and nobody's seen it before, they don't understand it. Yeah. So that's the part, is that you're going to put it out there. It's just like, it's like octopus haircut and everything. I mean, that literally was a trend that was started about 5 years ago, with just really sharp geometric shapes. And, everybody can and then now it's out there and, in a softened form. And that's just the difference between haute couture and ready to wear. It's, you've got to get innovators that push this stuff anyway.
Absolutely. Without a doubt.
Well, listen, honey, I want to just say thank you. Again, I know I've been gushing the whole while, because if I say it again, it's just going to get cheesy. But thank you so much. If I'm ever out in Montreal, you and your husband, my wife and I, we can get together and have some dinner, talk about Well, Rita's sitting over here listening. So if I say we're going to talk hair, she'll say, well, then I'm not going.
Uh, please do let me know. And my husband co-owns a restaurant, and we're going to
Oh,
take you to Luca. Yes,
no,
absolutely.
her husband co-owns the restaurant. So
We're
yeah,
going. So
yeah.
you're on. Let me know when,
Okay.
and you're on. Absolutely.